Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Perfect Album Sides, alongside the co-creator of this topic and in the co-captain's chair, Mr. Steve Fleck. What's going on, man? You ready to talk album sides once again?
As our great friend would say, hey, we're ready. We're always ready.
That's right.
You know, a couple of old vinyl geezers and tape geezers like us would certainly, qualify as, experts in this subject matter. And so, yeah, we're ready to go, man.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So everybody knows the drill, right? So we're picking a album side from a classic album that was originally released on either vinyl or cassette. Cassettes mimic the LPs back in the day, where you got one side A or B, or C or D, 3 or 4, depending on if it's a double album, where it's got to have 2 or more songs. And we feel that every song on that album side is an absolute 5 out of 5 star classic. No questions asked, right? So I'm going to have Steve kick us off with his album side, perfect album side, and then I'll do mine. So what do you got, Steve?
Great. Thanks, Pete. As I was saying with some of my other picks, I mean, these go deep into our DNA. We're going back to the early 80s. Well, I'm going to talk about deep freaking DNA here. People realize when I bought this album, they might be carting me off to the emergency room. I bought this album in 1976. Yes, 76. 10 years old, Richie's Department Store, Ellenville, New York. Hello! Across the row was a fountain and Famous Monsters magazines and all kinds of other stuff. But, come on, the mom and pop shop that sold all that stuff and records, please, that's totally gone and thing of the past. So that said, I'm old. And so is this album. And the older, the better, as far as I'm concerned. We're talking one of my favorite bands. We're talking one of my early picks as far as heavy music goes. When I bought this album, my brother listened to it and said that lead singer sounds like a snake. We're talking about Aerosmith, the great Aerosmith. Their best album rocks. Side 2, not side 1. Side 2 of rocks. Side 1 is awesome. Side 2 is just a little better than awesome. And where we're going there, we're going with some kind of weird picks. Like Pete said, we're hitting some side Bs here. Sick as a Dog is not, one that you're going to hear on FM radio. Nobody's Fault is not one you're going to hear on FM radio. Slamming song, Nobody's Fault. Production on there, trying to go back to Jack Douglas, trying to go back to, how he got some of those sounds, some of those drum sounds. To me, this was just, when I got this album and I started spinning it on a turntable, I was like, what in the hell has entered my bedroom here? Just loved every minute of it. Was scared, kind of, 10 years old, a little bit scared by some of the loudness of it all and the sounds that I had never heard before. Some of the shit that Joe Perry was doing with the slide, man, kind of doing it doubly, like, whoa. Get the Lead Out, just a great riff song. And I think so. Probably the first couple, maybe 2 or 3 songs here, the band members kind of changed up. I think you had Tom Hamilton playing some rhythm guitar, you had Joe Perry playing some bass, you had Tyler maybe doing some drums. If you look at the original album, which I have downstairs, you can see they switched it up a bit there. Possibly my favorite Aerosmith song of all time is Lickin' a Promise, and that is right here in the meat of this album side. I can't tell you how much I love that song. Rats in the Cellar, probably my second favorite Aerosmith song. It happens to be on side 1, and we're not talking about that today. Lickin' a Promise, listen to how metal punk it was. What was going on in 1976? What was going on in 1976? Well, punk was going on in 1976. These guys sped it up. These guys were, some of the original bad boys of hard rock and kind of, arguably what they used to call acid rock. And kind of, just sum it all up and kind of end it with a nice, melodic ballad called Home Tonight, which is, to me, fantastic way to end that. Love that album, love that side. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's a great one. And you said something really key, I think, at the beginning when you started talking about it. It's like, none of these songs were played on the radio. Thank God they weren't. Right?
And you're right about that. You're right.
Because, we all know the big Aerosmith radio songs, and there's a few of them that, man, I don't ever need to hear again. But
we're done.
The deep album cuts, woo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. Which is why the sleeper,
Yeah.
the sleeper emerges in this case, and has with some of your picks as well.
Yeah. It's not to go off on a tangent here, but it's like I think for all of us who really dig Aerosmith, Rocks and Toys in the Attic are like always the two go-to albums. I gotta tell you, in recent years, man, Night in the Ruts and Get Your Wings are the two I listen to the most.
Get Your Wings is great. First album is great. They really couldn't do any wrong at that point. I have to tell you, I was always a fan of Night in the Ruts, even though I knew that the band was splintering and maybe some of it was Jimmy Crespo and some of it was, it was kind of a mishmash. Really, really strong album.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yep.
Great pick. Yeah. Side 2 of Rocks is absolutely classic. Absolutely classic. All right. I'm going to go ahead a few years. We're going to go to 1981. And
we're getting modern.
What's that?
We're getting modern.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. 1981, Warner Brothers Records. Man, I knew I was going to pick an album by this band at some point this month. And like I've told everybody, it's like I'm only going to do each band once. I'm not going to repeat bands at all this month. And so I was like, all right, so which Black Sabbath album am I going to choose? Because the thing about Sabbath, they're like, one of my favorite bands of all time. And I love so many of their songs, but they don't have a lot of absolutely perfect album sides, in my opinion, because the band and maybe Tony always decided, especially on the early albums, that every album side had to have a little bit of fluff, right? In fact, one of the albums, there's a song called Fluff, and there's usually like one little track that I'm like, oh God, skip that, skip changes, skip this, skip, whatever, and everything else is great. So I was looking through each of the albums, and I'm like, all right, I finally came across one that start to finish on a side just absolutely rumbles my chain and sends shivers up my spine and just crushes from start to finish. And that is side A of If You Listen to Fools, The Mob Rules. Because quite frankly, Turn Up the Night, Voodoo, The Sign of the Southern fucking Cross, even E5150, which is amazing. And that's like one of their short little ditties on here, but it's so kind of cool with those weird, eerie synthesizers. And then the friggin' title track, which just lays to waste everything in its sight. I mean, I wanted to pick like Heaven and Hell, right? But even though I personally like Heaven and Hell just a little bit more than I like Mob Rules, I don't feel either of those sides is absolutely perfect, because there are, like let's say there's four, like the side one, 3 of the 4 songs to me are 5 out of 5 stars. The other one's maybe a 4, right? Same thing on side 2. Here, every song just absolutely crushes on side A, just absolutely crushes. And I love Martin Birch again. That's 2 days in a row I picked a Martin Birch album. I didn't do that on purpose, but yeah. I mean, it's just, I love the sound of this album, and just, man. And I'm trying to think, I think on this tour, because I saw them on this tour, pretty sure they played the whole side, maybe not Turn Up the Night, but I think pretty sure they played Voodoo, Sign of the Southern Cross, E5150, and Mob Rules. But just amazing. Absolutely crushing Black Sabbath. And your dog agrees as well. So see that?
Yeah, she loves it. She loves Sabbath. I love that pick. When I heard you say 81, I knew you were going to pick Sabbath, and I knew it was going to be Mob Rules, and I would agree with you. I do lean towards Heaven and Hell, but I do understand those couple of tracks that not everybody loves, and I know they're one of them is Lady Evil, and the other one is probably
Walk Away.
Walk Away, which I happen to just dig those two.
I like both of them. I just don't think either one of them is like a 5 out of 5 star classic. That's my problem.
But Mob Rules. I mean, it's shame on them for not playing Turn Up the Night, because what a great, what an opener.
It's basically like the little sister or little brother to Neon Nights. I mean, it's just
Neon Nights.
So
yeah,
cool.
And it's a fantastic album, and I would agree with you. It's funny because I had on here, should I reveal it? Sabotage, side 1 as one of my favorites, and I just had to save it for another time. But I think Don't Start Too Late moves outside of, to me, some of the excesses that they might have done with changes and things like that. I happen to love Don't Start Too Late because of it. To me, it's the E5 150 of 1975 because it just led you right into, you know, what was coming afterwards. So there it is. But totally agree with that. Any Sabbath album to me is worthy, and
Yeah.
that's big, Pete.
Yeah, I wanted to find the right one, right? So I think
Agreed.
like I said, there were some contenders, but you know, most of the other ones I looked at, there was always one track that I was like, yeah, I like that, but is that perfection? Maybe not, right? So, but that is a perfect album side for me. There you go. Hey, hey.
The old Sabbath got very
Our
diverse.
Sabbath
And
lover.
they
There you
were,
go.
and there's Zelda. Yep, there she is.
There you go.
Yeah, excellent.
Very cool. So they have another episode under our belts. Perfect album sides. So let us know what you think of both of these two selections here today: Aerosmith Rocks side B and Black Sabbath Mob Rules side A, and also list your picks for your favorite album side today. Here, as we go through each and every day, the month of May, a perfect album side for each and every day. I'm rhyming left and right. Somehow that can't be right. All right, enough of that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Check us out and like us on Facebook. But more importantly, come here and visit us each and every day, all together on YouTube. For Steve Fleck, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Until then, have a good one. Bye-bye.